All right. Couple housekeeping things for this morning. My arm's going to be disappearing because I have a white shirt on. So this is going to be interesting. I thought this was what was going to take place. But we're going to go ahead and do this anyway. All right. You need some note-taking materials. Yes, you do. You also need a second device. You're going to use that device to go to theturnarounddoctor.com. Excuse me. And then you're going to go to the 74 Principles of Real Leadership. Scroll all the way down to the innovative section. And we are at number 5, be forward thinking. Note-taking materials, physical or virtual. Second device, go to the website, theturnarounddoctor.com. Scroll down to innovative. Number 5, be forward thinking. Okay. And when you get that together, what we're going to do now is take 3 deep breaths this morning. You're going to let the brain know that we are ready to do this. Okay. Inhale and exhale 3 times. Good morning. I am Dr. Donna Louise Thomas-Rodgers, daughter of Leslie Darnell Thomas, granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Evelyn II, and great-granddaughter of Levi Thomas. Welcome to your morning mental workout, where today's topic is Be Forward Thinking. How did we get here? Neurogenesis. That's the creation of new neurons in your amazing brain. Neuroplasticity takes those new neurons and creates neural pathways, connecting them together so that you can begin to use those pathways to become better and better. You combine that with the 74 Principles of Real Leadership and the theory of personal accountability, and you end up with Neuropability. And that's the brain's ability to wire itself to use the 74 Principles of Real Leadership to create unlimited neural pathways so that you can learn how to hold yourself personally accountable and access your best day in and day out. That magic happens in the frontal lobe of the brain, specifically in the area of the executive function, which is also known as the CEO of the brain. Without further ado, let's go ahead and use that portion of our brain today. If you are new to this live or you are watching on the replay, I have done an overview of the 74 Principles of Real Leadership, and now I'm going through them individually to the point where I'm defining each word so that you can understand them in their wonderful essence and glory. You can go down to the bottom of the playlist, the 74 Principles of Real Leadership, and work your way up at your leisure. Okay, be forward thinking. So what is the definition of be? Good morning. What is the definition of be? It is occur or take place. Occur or take place. What is the definition of forward? It is onward so as to make progress toward a successful conclusion. Onward so as to make progress toward a successful conclusion. And I have the overall definition of thinking today and then the key definitions of the expanded version of it. Gotta love ChatGPT. Thinking is the mental process of using one's mind to consider or reason about something. Thinking is the mental process of using one's mind to consider or reason about something. It involves processing information, forming concepts, solving problems, making decisions, and reflecting. It involves processing information, forming concepts, solving problems, making decisions, and reflecting. All things that you use when you are using your executive function. So when you're thinking, you're in the frontal lobe and you're using the executive function of your brain. Now, here are the key definitions. Here's the general definition, and we're still discussing thinking. Thinking is the process of considering or reasoning about something mentally. It's happening up here. It's not happening out here. It's happening up here. So it is the process of considering or reasoning about something mentally. Now, if you are in a hijacked amygdala, you are in your limbic system, which is located in the temporal lobe of the brain. And the last thing that you are doing is thinking or reasoning about something mentally. You are literally emotionalizing, fight, flight, freeze, or appease. So what you're not doing is thinking. When you are thinking, you are actually in the frontal lobe and you are actually using the executive function of your brain. So if you find yourself just doing all kind of crazy shit, you're not thinking. If you do something and you go back and say, what was I thinking? You actually weren't thinking. You weren't. You were actually reacting to something that was taking place. But thinking is up here. Now, there is a psychological definition of thinking. And thinking is a cognitive process that allows individuals to interpret, analyze, and synthesize information in order to make sense of the world, solve problems, and make decisions. So, the psychological definition of thinking is a cognitive process that allows individuals to interpret, analyze, and synthesize information in order to make sense of the world, solve problems, and make decisions. Now, I'd like to stop here for a moment and say, if you are thinking and the people around you are not thinking, and you attempt to analyze what they're doing and it doesn't make sense, it's because they're not thinking. There's 6.8 billion adults in the world walking around with negativity bias and hijacked amygdala and a bunch of other biases and isms and everything else. So as you sit there in your rational thought and you try to make sense of what they're doing, stop. Don't waste your amazing neural pathways and your mental anything on it, because it's not going to make any sense, because they are making irrational, emotional, erratic choices based upon negativity bias. They are hardwired for it. So stop doing that. Don't worry don't waste time on it, because it won't make sense. It doesn't make sense to them and they're still going to do it. So look at it and go, that's a hijacked amygdala right there. Let me keep it pushing, because that right there makes no sense whatsoever. Don't try to understand it, because fear will make you do all kind of things that faith won't even attempt to touch. And then the philosophical definition of thinking is, thinking can be seen as a conscious, purposeful mental activity directed toward achieving, understanding, truth, or meaning. Good morning. Thinking can be seen as a conscious, purposeful mental activity directed towards achieving, understanding, truth, or meaning. And that is my purpose. I have been researching for the last 12 years to understand, what is it going to take for individual adults on a daily basis to access their best. And initially I thought, I could just tell you what to do and you'll do it. And then I said, I have these programs that you could use, just do it. And now I am finding that it is neurological. And you have to actually wire your neural pathways, create them, and then use them in order to go from negativity bias to a positive mindset. And then you can use all of the 74 principles of real leadership, which is why I think positive is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So from a philosophical perspective, I'm observing human behavior and I am saying, what would make somebody do that? What would make somebody do that? And from the outside looking in, you say, they was raised wrong. They just crazy. But it is neurological. In thousands of years, we have been hardwired for negativity bias, which makes us always look for a threat, always believe the negative first, because it has just been passed down and we are hardwired for that. So that neural pathway has to be pruned along with all the other biases and the isms in order for you to start thinking rationally, using your frontal lobe, and then you can start being a forward thinker. What questions do you have about the definition of be forward thinking before I move on to what will cause people not to be forward thinkers? This is probably hot. We're going to find out. It's in the middle. Good morning, Regina. And even if the definition is clear, just let me know that the definition is clear and you understand. Entiendo, or Regina and her Spanish. Capiche? The meaning of forward is onward so as to make progress toward a successful conclusion. Onward so as to make progress toward a successful conclusion. Let me know if you have it. Okay, so I'm going to ask the question to you before I answer the question. What stops people from being forward thinking? So, what do you believe are the reasons, is a reason for people to stop being forward thinkers or to never start? Either way. Kevin, forward thinking is what you do every day because you always say you never do anything without a strategy. That is correct. I would agree with that. And yesterday, Nola and I had several brainstorming sessions as we were not assembling anything, and she developed a new concept, and we were able to reflect, which is part of it that I'll go over today too. And forward thinking, let me qualify this. Forward thinking is not you're not be present, because as we know, I attended Al-Anon meetings and we have a slogan, be where your feet are. So it's not a matter of not being present, but it is a matter of a forward projection of where I have a goal and where do I want that goal to be? What do I plan on doing? And the innovation that comes from it. And the whole section of Real Leaders Wear Pink is about innovate. And that's how you do it, because Steve Jobs said, make it better, make it cheaper. Or Warren Buffett, one of them, said, make it better, make it cheaper. And for those of you who've done daily challenges, it's amazing what the innovators were doing, the inventors were doing back then. I mean, if you just think about, we use doorknobs. Doorknobs didn't exist. There's polyester, there's ice cream trucks, there's all these different things, ice makers, the Farmer's Almanac, all these things that weren't here, and now they are here because of people being forward thinkers and ensuring a way to make our lives better. As you continue to answer my question, CJ, what's taking place today that you decided that I have a brain t-shirt on and a brain background, that this was something that you wanted to do this morning? If you're still here, or did you just do a drive-by? What's happening in your day that you've chosen that as what you believe to be a viable option of a form of communicating with Dr. Donna this morning? Because you appear to have on a jacket and your profile photo. And so is this just who you are and this is what you do on a Tuesday morning? Is that what's happening? Okay. And so do you say that to all the ladies? Is that your way of wooing and swooning Dr. Donna this morning? Should I be flattered by that comment? Would you like for me to swipe left? And now we see why, ladies and gentlemen, and Charlie has commented on my hair as well. Now we see why I just kept wearing the headband wig, so that I could just teach. I could just teach. I want a brain t-shirt and a brain background. I'm literally talking about forward thinking. And we have two different gentlemen this morning who decided, hey, yeah, Doc, fuck that shit. Damn, you look good, girl. Well, I drink your bath water. Your daddy must have been a thief, because he took the stars out the sky and put them in your eyes. Got some fries to go with that shake, because the way you moving, it's going to be an earthquake. Damn, shorty. Woo! Look at you. Look at you, red bone. You so damn fine. Oh, I gotta catch myself because I'm about to fall out. Looking good, girl. Look at your fine ass. Ought to be against the law to look that damn good. Are we finished? Are we finished? I sure can, Brian. Brian would like for me to say the N word for us. Nice. I sure can. It's such a nice morning. Wow. I hope I can be nice for the rest of my life. Okay, let's look at CJ before he's removed. I'm digging you, sister. You looking hella fine this morning. You looking like you want to be taken out tonight. How about me and you go out on the town and I'll show you a real good time? Are you picking me up in your 1978 Cadillac with the diamond in the back and the gangster lean? Is that what we're doing? Is that what we're doing this morning? Okay, so to all three of you, go off and have an amazing rest of your day because you will never have access to this live again. Thank you for being such an amazing lesson this morning. Okay, so what stops people from being forward thinking? I believe, Regina, I think people might not have hope or desire to achieve something. Okay, great. And let's move on. Yes, they may not have hope, the desire, the intestinal fortitude, the mental faculties, and a hijacked amygdala will have you do what these three imbeciles did this morning and wake up and find out that that's not a viable option over here with me. What stops people from being forward thinking? There are several factors that can stop people from being forward thinking. For example, focusing on the future, embracing change, and preparing for long-term outcomes. This is what you do when you are forward thinking. You will focus on the future. You will embrace change, which interestingly enough is one of the 74 principles of real leadership, and you will prepare for long-term outcomes. Number one on the list is fear of the unknown. And we addressed this before. Fear of the unknown. The uncertainty about the future can cause anxiety, leading people to cling to familiar routines and resist change. Fear of the unknown. I might be stuck with my stuck Millie and my stands in this job that I hate in this comfort zone, but at least when I wake up every morning, I know it sucks and I know why it sucks and I'm okay with that. But if I go out there in the land of real leaders in the galaxy, who knows what's going to take place? What if it goes left? You sitting in your left. You sleeping in your left. You waking up driving to your left. It already is left. It is. So just leave it and go forth and do something else. But fear of the unknown is number one. Number two, comfort with the status quo. I haven't said this in a while, but the only time you need to be comfortable is when you're sleeping, when you're recovering from a medical procedure, or you are on your way out of here. Go ahead and be comfortable. Other than that, you don't need to be comfortable. That's not where best resides. So comfort with the status quo is number two. If current circumstances feel safe or successful, people may see no need to think ahead or innovate. What's interesting is that your family and your friends and your house and home are where you should feel safe. And if you talk to people, on average, they'll tell you growing up was a tumultuous environment. I had to deal with this. My siblings didn't get along. My parents didn't get along. But this is where safety is supposed to reside. And most of the time, it is not the safest place on earth for you. In fact, sometimes it's the worst place for you to be. That's why I had 8 classes in high school. So I was like, yeah, I ain't really trying to go back home till everybody on their way to sleep. As I can get home as late as possible, sleep, shower, and go ahead and get back out the door. That would be wonderful. Comfortable with the status quo. And then for the people who feel like they're successful. And what's interesting is that as I'm watching these millennials transfer out of being the young person in the room, whether it's in media, entertainment, and everything else, and the Z's and the A's are coming, they are clutching their millennial pearls thinking, I'm no longer the young, cute person in the room with the innovative ideas. I'm the old person with readers on and gray hair and potentially perimenopause if you're a woman. How did I get here? Like, where did the time go? I don't know how this happened. Well, it happened because you weren't forward thinking. You did not think that you too would be 45. You did not think that you'd be 40. You did not think you'd be 38. And now here comes an 18, 19-year-old in the league with hops and everything else, and you trying to figure out what happened to your long jumper and short jumper. You used to be able to run a 4.40, and now it's a 4.9 or whatever it is. You'd be able to pop it and drop it, shake that, make that booty pop, and now you realize you ain't got mag knees anymore. at all, because your brain started atrophying at 35. So here comes this young version of you with their fully developed frontal lobe and complete working memory, and you trying to figure out what happened. You stop being forward thinking. That's what happens. So that success that you had, you dusting off these old ass raggedy ideas from 2000. Everybody like, that don't work no more. We can't use that. That's a dead language if you're in tech. No, that's not how it works. No, we don't even need that anymore. You over here talking about the card catalog, and we got Chat GPT. You ain't even got to go to the library anymore. I don't even have to go to the librarian. I can go online, look up the book, put it on hold, walk in the library, never interact with anybody, scan my library card, I'm out the door. If I want to renew the book, I go back online and I drop it off in a container, and I ain't even got to go back in the library because somebody was forward thinking through that whole process. And that's unsexy. It's the library. But look how tech savvy it is. Regina mentioned that she's going to go take some classes at the library because the library was forward thinking. They were like, yeah, Dewey Decimal System ain't going to work like this no more. We're not going to be able to tell who signed out the book. Put the card back in and then go back. So comfort in the current moment is why you're going to be left behind in the future. So short-term focus. Many are pressured by immediate needs like financial stress, deadlines, or survival. Learning has little room for long-term thinking. So the short-term focus, I got to pay my bills. I got to get this done today. I got to make dinner. I got to pick the kids up. I got to do this. I got to take care of my aging parents and all this thing. You don't have the mental faculties to think about the long term. You're just trying to get through Tuesday. And part of the reason why that is because you did not create new neural pathways where forward thinking is one of them. And you spend 15 minutes. Let me just think about the future. Let me just have some time to reflect, because you thought I didn't need that. That's you're doing too much. And you didn't understand that your brain is going to start deteriorating at the age of 35. And if you don't do something, everybody talks about these muscles deteriorating. And then by the time you're 65, hey, do some Sudoku. Your brain already atrophied. It had 30 years to atrophy before you realized that it was all the way useless. Working memory retired. Now you can't think like, what's the name of that? What's the name of that? And that's the issue. Short-term focus. When you hold everybody in your family personally accountable to do the things that they are able to do, guess what it gives you back? You. And now you have time to be forward thinking. Now you have time to create this neural pathway and reinforce it on the daily basis. Number 4 is a lack of vision or imagination. A lack of vision or imagination. Without clear goals or the ability to envision a different future, it's hard to plan or act forward. Without clear goals or the ability to envision a different future, it's hard to plan or act forward. I say so many things and have said so many things that are crazy. People just look at me like, there she go again. There she go again. There she go again with all this. How you going to get 6.8 billion people to be personally accountable? I'm actually not going to get 6.8 billion people personally accountable, but I am going to get critical mass. And then those people are going to hold everybody that's around them personally accountable. And that flywheel is going to go and the momentum is going to go. And then 6.8 billion people are going to be adults, are going to be personally accountable. I'm just here to say, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. And then you're going to get it done. But when you don't have that vision, when you can't see forward, and now you're just sitting here like, well, I sure wish somebody would. I wish somebody would invent. Why ain't somebody make? Dang, why won't they? Why won't you? Simple question. Number 5, cultural or environmental factors. And we're going back to the Stuckmalian and the stance. Environments that discourage risk-taking, curiosity, or new ideas can stifle forward thinking. Environments that discourage risk-taking, curiosity, or new ideas can stifle forward thinking. My forward thinking makes unaccountable people uncomfortable, and they want me to stop. I can't stop what my brain does naturally. What I can do is stop interacting with you. See, we can't do that way, because then, and how's that going to work? And that don't make no sense. And we always been doing this way. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's about to be outdated. It might not be broke, but that shit about to be outdated. For real. So what you going to do? Cars don't have doggone, they don't take regular fuel anymore because the Cadillac converters are all converted over. Remember back in the day, for those of us who are X's or boomers, the car, you go to the gas station, and first of all, there was a person there that could help you for full service. But now you had regular and you had unleaded. So there were cars that still ran with leaded fuel in them. And now that's not the case. And now you need a plug to plug up some of the vehicles. So if you're sitting there and then you had to transition the transmission over to have the stuff that you could put in there slowly to transfer your engine from regular to gas, so that unleaded, so that it could work. My uncle used to be a mechanic, so he's the one that taught me that. But you had to do that. So if you go to a gas station, I'm like, yeah, where I need 15 on regular on number 7. Regular what? We don't have no regular gas. We had unleaded, diesel, and plug up your vehicle. So it can be very much outdated, and people won't decide to innovate. They won't have these new ideas, and now you're stuck because you want to be with your Stens and your Stuckmally so you can fit in with your crew, and y'all can all look like next 1972. Number 6, fear of failure or rejection. Fear of failure or rejection. So trying something new often comes with risk, and people may avoid it to protect their reputation or ego. Trying something new often comes with risk, and people may avoid it to protect their reputation or ego. That's why there are 4 turnaround risk challenges. 120 days you can go taking risk. So you can get edge. The ego is nothing but edging grayed out. You get rid of your ego and everything else, and understand that the more risk you take, the less fear you take in. The more risk you take, the less fear you take in, and you won't be concerned with failure because you know that failure is just part of the success equation. Will you be rejected? If you're in a room with a bunch of unaccountable people, absolutely. Absolutely. I even have a 60-second strategy that's called Ideal Meter. And I say, go talk to people and tell them your idea. And if they tell you, yes, this is great and wonderful, you should do it, don't. That means that shit is already here, it's scaled, people are comfortable with that idea. But if you tell them, I'm getting ready to do this, and they're going, how that's going to work? That don't make no damn sense. You can't make no money doing that. Why would you do that? That's winner, chicken dinner. You've hit pay dirt. But that fear of failure and the rejection from other people. Everybody's like, oh, I'm going to go to Carnegie Hall. It's actually Carnegie. I'm going to go to Carnegie Hall. And I've told this story before. When Carnegie made the doggone first bridge, people were afraid to walk over it because trains kept falling off the track. And he was like, how am I going to get people to, they were like, steel, that's what you make utensils and forks and knives with. Why would you use that? That's not sturdy. And so what he did was he sat there and made this amazing bridge so make people to be able to walk over it to get to the other side of New York. I think that's the city that was in. And nobody wanted to go on the bridge. And he was just thinking, forward thinking, how can I get people to understand that steel is amazing? And he got an elephant. And he put it in the news, and people came and they watched that elephant walk across that bridge, and nothing happened. And then people started walking across the bridge. So yes, people are going to think you're crazy. Yes, you're going to fail. And that's just all part of forward thinking. And then number 7, and this is the final one, is limited education or exposure. Limited education or exposure. Without exposure to diverse ideas, technologies, or ways of thinking, a person may not even realize the potential for forward thinking. Exposure to diverse ideas, technologies, or ways of thinking, a person may not even realize the potential for forward thinking. Nola is doing 3 challenges, and she's doing a PA challenge where I think we're like 15 days apart on me making them and her doing them, because she started 2 weeks after me when I started making them. But I think it's small, and it's one other word that I used a definition that was totally like, she was like, I don't even know how you you took small and turned it into big. And it was one more where it was a simple word, and I went and found like the 9th definition of it and said, this is the definition that I'm talking about. And for those of you who've ever been in the PA challenge, you're thinking, yeah, kickstand is another one. Like, you're like, yeah, kickstand holds a bike up. Hey, wait, hold up. I'm a kickstand. Absolutely not. I'm not about to be somebody's kickstand. No, I'm not about to be somebody's doormat. Absolutely not. So it's changing the way you think, creating these new neural pathways in order for you to be your best. And here's what I'd like to say. Everybody that's unaccountable thinks the same. Everybody that's unaccountable thinks the same. They wake up every day looking for can't. And then when they get their can't, they say, see, that's can't, bad, 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 bad. Their thinking is the same. Now, what they're processing might be different depending on where they are located globally. But the can't, the government, the kids, the parents, the job, the this, the that, all of it is different. All of it is different. But it's the same. So the actual details might be different, but the thought process is the same. I'm going to wake up every day and I'm going to think negatively. I'm going to think negatively, and I'm going to confirm and affirm my negative thinking by doom scrolling, watching the news, having negative conversations, and I'm just going to live in this can't mindset. And then when someone does something innovative initially, no, that's stupid. That's not going to work. I thought Netflix was stupid, and now we have a Netflix subscription, and it has definitely transitioned in where Blockbusters, the last Blockbuster closed. So your thinking is what's stopping you from getting anything that you want. You're thinking, no, Dr. Don, that's racism. Bullshit. It's sexism. Bullshit. It's ageism. Bullshit. And I'm going to say it's bullshit because it is. I'm 52 years old. The largest following that I have on all of my social media platforms is people 18 to 24 and 25 to 34. And I'm 52. So this whole notion that young people don't listen to old people and young people discriminate against old people and they start talking shit about old people. I'm 52. If you're 18, I'm old enough to be your mother. There's no way that people think that's 18 think their parents are cool. It's not viable. So it's not true. You saying some old shit, you got this old mindset with this atrophied ass working memory, and you say, yeah, these folk today. What I don't say is what's the problem with young folks today is we had it better and we did it better and you start a sentence with that, of course somebody is going to be defensive. If you don't learn to speak their language, if you don't speak TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and you don't understand, and not their jargon, but if you're not where they are, and they can't see a reason to interact with you, yeah, they're going to call you old, outdated, because you look like and talk like 1972. That's not on them, that's on you. If you don't update your way, they don't even respect old folks no more. If you don't respect yourself, how is anybody else going to respect you? And who taught them not to respect their elders? Nola and I were at an appointment the other day, and we putting these backdrops up at somebody's house, and a young gentleman came to pick up a young lady that was visiting her friend. And we opened the door. He said, hey, ma'am, I'm here to pick up the young lady's name. I said, hold up, let me grab her. He's thought to stay outside. I said, no, you can come in. And then he went upstairs. And yeah, back in my day, these young folk don't know shit. And then when we came downstairs, I said, she'll be down in a moment. We were finishing up. And he said, well, let me help you. And he helped and took the ladder outside. We just met him. I said, you were raised properly. Yes, ma'am, automatically. So if anything is wrong with the youth today, it's the previous generation's responsibility to make it right. It's not theirs. You're older than them. You actually, in theory, have a working frontal lobe and a working memory. So these kids today, that shit's on you. It's their fault that they haven't done what you expected them to do. People that live in glass houses can't throw stones. And people that live in caves can't talk about nobody's modernization or not. Get your ass into 2025. So this limited thinking and this my way is the best way. No, I am a person who loves to learn, and I find value in Grok and Chat GPT. And I'm an old head. I got books from the library sitting on my desk right now that I checked out for the brain. Here we go. So I am going to get my information from everywhere. Everywhere. I'm talking to you on a cell phone now. None of this would even be possible were it not for Steve Jobs. So I'm not going to be like, oh, technology is good until it's time for me to use it. Absolutely not. So limited education and exposure. You won't get your ass out of your cubicleized existence, and you want everybody to acquiesce to your old way of thinking. This shit don't fucking work. So no, we're not going to think like you. Do we need information from 1972? In the movie Hidden Figures, they used old math to get the go, no-go entry point for John Glenn to get back into the get back and land on Earth. Grok. Grok is on Twitter. Grok. So you have to have a Twitter X account to use it. It's at the bottom. But Regina, I think it's worth you just getting an account just so you could use it, because you could do 10 searches every 2 hours for free. But it has detail, just like with Chat GTP. I don't know if you've done the deep research. Oh my God. Information for days. Information for days. It's like I used to have to go to the library, especially when I was in college, for hours to get information. And now it's right here at my fingertips for me able to process that information to give it to you. So yeah, I am on team AI, Allen Iverson and artificial intelligence. Let me review quickly. So what we have are the 7 reasons of what stops people from being forward thinkers. And here it is. Fear of the unknown is number 1. 2 is comfort with the status quo. 3 is short-term focus. 4 is lack of vision or imagination. 5 is cultural or environmental factors. 6 is fear of failure or rejection. and 7 is limited education or exposure. Yeah, it's amazing. I promise you. The deep research takes a couple minutes. So after you ask it, you can go do something else and come back. But it will have all the sources. You know how on Google it tells you where all the sources came from? It does the exact same thing on Grok. Yeah, and Chat GPT, Chat GPT as well, but you could just search more frequently on Grok. I use all of them, and I still use Google as well. What questions or comments do you have about the 7 reasons that's stopping people from being forward thinking? And the answer is not, oh, I don't have any questions. What was clear to you? What did you learn? What was some takeaways? What are your thoughts on why people aren't being forward thinkers? And if you haven't done so, go ahead and answer the poll question. Now, Sebastian, I'm gonna leave that because I think you might not have been talking to me. The other thing that I will say is that we have several people who work in multiple industries, OnlyFans, Pornhub, the exotic dancers, and everything else. And one of our clients Nola's clients is Asian. And what she said is on one of these platforms, I think it's OnlyFans, Asian is a whole category. And so if you're wondering why 3 people have already come on to this page and said those things, it is because when I put this hair on, my Asian features, Bantu features that have given to me from my father show up. And there is a fetish for the Asian population globally, women globally. And so that clicking word for that person that's watching it goes to that. And so they want me to go, me love you long time. Oh, me so. And that's exactly what they see, which is why I had the headband wig on. I told y'all that this was going to happen, but I'm not going to be me and stop doing that because of some unaccountable person's fetish with the Asian women population globally. So she, in fact, gave us that information last week. So if you're wondering what all of this drive-by, raggedy-ass, weak game that these gentlemen have, that is what's taking place. Good morning, Sabrina. We had no idea either. So, but I got 15, 16 wigs in rotation now. I'm not going to not wear my hair in the morning because of my 26 essays. And that's probably why the number is so high, is because that people are like, yeah, I'm like, okay. I'll tell you what, there won't be a 27. Y'all will see me on another 48 or what is it? Something on Lifetime movies. Whatever, Snapped. I don't know if that still comes on, but that used to come on back in the day when I had cable in the late 90s. They will fuck around and find out. Their family will be looking for them all over the world. I used to wash my wigs. I don't wear them frequently enough to do that. What I did find out, though, is that when you wash them, the shape doesn't hold anymore. But because I have so many in rotation, when they start getting old and raggedy, I just throw them out. But I just got rid of like 14 wigs. And day in and day out, the ones that I wear when I'm helping my daughter, I switch those out more often. But yeah, the wig shampoo, even when you dry it, use it, put it back on the head, it doesn't go back like it needs to. I don't have any hair, so my head is bald, so I don't have the hair-to-hair contact. All right, I have alopecia, which is why I wear wigs to begin with. Real alopecia, not people talking about they got it and they don't. And Regina, back to your topic, do you help expand people's exposure? Back to your topic, how do you help expand people's exposure to diversity? Here's what I do. And remember, I read Pimpin' Ken's book. His daddy was Johnny Slick. So I do have the ability. If I wanted to be a pimp, I could. No. So here's what happens, Regina, is you subtly bring it into the conversation. So if you're talking to someone and I did it, and I don't know if you were on that live, Regina, when I was talking about diversity, but that person came back with their whole critical race theory and feminism BS. And so what I do is when I am talking to someone, and because I could tell what that person said, I know how old they were and everything else, That's why I brought up the Elvis, I'm all shook up in Andersonville, Georgia. I'm a soldier and all of that, because I'm going to change your perception of what you actually think is taking place. That's why I have such a diverse background. And so what happens is your own experience, people don't like diversity because it makes them uncomfortable, because they feel like, well, you're different than me, so I can't connect. But any mother who has had childbirth knows when I say labor pains, everybody like, oh shit, yes, Lord, I was in labor for such and such. If I'm talking to an older woman and I say hot flashes, everybody got to go through menopause. So you look for the commonality thing that people have. And if it's something as simple as, do you drink water? Food. Every human has to eat food. And you could just ask the person, what's your favorite food? And they'll tell you, oh, really? Did you know that the origin of pasta is from such and such and such and such? And when you give them factually based, non-political, non-religious information, then they can connect to it. And so that's what the dailies are for. A great way to get people to understand diversity is if have a conversation about the dailies. That's what they're there for too. That's why when you take the daily challenge, you literally go have a conversation with someone else. And even if it's people you know, that conversation goes off into this whole other thing that you had no idea about, because it's not on the negative things. So as long as you steer clear of what unaccountable people care about and negativity bias, what's in mainstream news, you can start exposing them to different things. There are 13 curious question playlists on my channel and 6 or 7 poll questions. And if you just ask them simple poll questions, you will see. And there's 2 daily challenges plus 2 other playlists. One has 365 questions. Another one has 300 and something, 200 and something. Just ask them general questions. And what you will find is that people are looking for a similar connection some kind of way, because of the fear of, ooh, I was told I'm afraid of you. I got to be 100% afraid of you because you is the saber-toothed tiger. So just use neutral things that just say I'm a human being and so are you. And then the connection will be there. Let me know if I've answered your question. Kevin, you said fear is the president of all failures. It comes up every day in the morning lives. Yes, it does. And fear is that hijacked amygdala. And faith is that use in that doggone frontal lobe that I'm going to stay over here no matter how much you all try to hijack my amygdala. Not at all. And so this morning I was triggered by those 3 comments because I was like, oh, here we go again. I'm minding my own business. I'm not trying to transmute anything. I'm just sick of looking at myself every day in that headband wig, which is not me. So I got to do some extra measures to protect myself from these fucking pervy ass men. And I'm not going to do that. I didn't create the Asian fetish. I'm not a part of it. I should not have been assaulted 26 times. Absolutely not, because of some genetics that I ain't got shit to do with. So that's why I handled that situation the way I handled it, because I could have just said, oh, just I'm not going to say nothing. No, I'm going to call all you motherfuckers out and then I'm going to block you. Point blank, period. We're not doing that. We're not doing that at all. Because I took this thing out. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I take you to dinner. Motherfucker, you can't afford to take me to dinner at all. You can't, listen, if I do get back out there, you trust me, you ain't got enough commas next to your name. Because nah, not at all. Anyway, I digress. The whole point is that I let that sit there so that because I knew as soon as I stopped wearing that headband wig, that is what was going to take place. And I braced myself for it. And I said, you know what? We're not doing this shit. We're not doing that. I got on a brain t-shirt and a brain background. This is what you need to be paying attention. The words coming out of my mouth, not what you think should be put in my motherfucking mouth. Okay? All right, Regina, yes. Question answered. No, I wasn't on a live when you addressed the issue of critical race theory, etc. Yeah, a gentleman came over and told me that I was talking about critical race theory and feminism, and I wasn't. Okay, so that's that, and let's move on. How to become more forward thinking with the time that we have left, personally and with groups. I started with you seeing the headband and it served its purpose. Yes, it did. And so I had to get past that because I was addressing so many other things that was coming up that I'm like, you know what? This is going to happen in the future. And I had the headband ponytail on, which is a new wig, but that one specifically, that safe ass hair, no. I will put it on and the purpose of the headband wigs is literally when it's windy here in Las Vegas, because I almost lost the wig in the Target parking lot when I first got here. I didn't understand wind gusts, and I got in the car, hair bangs all the way back here, wig stuck in the damn door. I was like, oh, I got to do something different. All my hair going to be in parking lots. That's why the headband wigs even became a thing. And then working with Nola, so the hair doesn't come in my face. But I got all kind of flips and everything. So I have wigs that you will never see because they cover up half my face. And what I'm doing, I'm demure, and they don't work. But this works. So yeah, how to become forward thinking personally and with groups. How do you do it? So personally and with groups. Number one, start with a clear vision. Start with a clear vision. It was sad. I got in the car. I was like, what the? And then my hair, I was like, somebody got me. And then I realized that my wig was caught in the door. Yeah, that was 2011, March. So headband wigs, it is. Because them Gus, I don't care what you, and they might not take frontals, but they will definitely take full cap wigs right on into the parking lot. Right on into the parking lot. Okay, so personally and with groups, how to be forward thinking. You got to start with a clear vision. We know I've said don't do anything without a strategy. That means don't even go and brush and floss your teeth without a strategy. So for personally, define what kind of future you want, whether there's career, relationships, lifestyle, etc. Decide what it is that you are going to have. And then in a group setting, you want to set long-term goals together. Create a shared vision that everyone believes in. Personally, define what the future is that you want, whether it's career, relationships, or lifestyle. And in a group setting, set long-term goals together. Create a shared vision that everyone believes in. And you want to write down the results. And the group setting that comes to mind when I was writing this down is family. Family meetings are, y'all better do this shit, and that's it. But family meetings are, what do we represent as a family? Where are we? What are we working on? No family that I'm aware of sits down and says, what goals are you working on? Okay, what are you working on? And how can we do it? Now, terrible example, but people like Black like Black Mafia family and all of them, they'll sit down and say, hey, what a package at? But overall, everyday families don't sit down and say, how can we support each individual member of this household get to what they need? And that's going to allow you to be forward thinking. Okay, you want to go do well in soccer. You want to go and play the piano. You want to start a business. And when you sit down at the dinner table and have those conversations, now you have this family scorecard. Did we help Dr. Donna get what she needs? Did we help Nola get what she needs? And now it actually is this nucleus family that looks good on paper but doesn't exist in reality. Number two, develop curiosity and stay informed. Develop curiosity and stay informed. So you have to stay up to date with the trends in your field and technology and global events. And that's what I said. The trends are AI is here. It might be here long term, it might not, but that's what we're using now. And that's the technology as well. I have to understand what's happening in the field of leadership. That's why I know that John C. Maxwell is the top person in leadership. And I forgot the neuroscience guy's name. I did it on purpose because the only reason why he's the top is because he's the most quoted. Like, that's the dumb measurement anyway. Like, oh, so that's all you got to do. The most referenced. 200 and some thousand people reference that person's work. I think his first name is Simon. So now he's the top neuroscientist. Fuck that. That ain't a good metric. So anyway, I had to find out who those people are and what they're presenting to the rest of the world so I could make it better. And I could use the information to bring it over here. But followed Maxwell. It's old. It's outdated. But once those people get in those positions, they just stay and people just get used to it. And they have to die, like Jack Welch. So you're going to ask what if questions often in order for you to develop your curiosity. And I have a what if playlist on my YouTube channel as well. So what if? Start asking what if, and the brain is going to say what if, and the brain has to answer. Good morning, Lola. The brain has to answer a question when you say what if. So just start saying what if, and the brain's going to say what if what? For a minute, if you ain't had it, it's going to buffer. And then it's going to say, what if I did this? What if people? What if? And it will become very much a new neural pathway for you. Number three, you want to practice strategic thinking. Practice strategic thinking. So break big goals into smaller steps. I've said that. Break it down. You're going to break it down. Let it be broke, okay? Break down big goals into smaller steps. And then consider both current impact and future consequences of the decisions. And I've said the process is play the movie out. What if I do this? How is that going to impact me short term and long term? So play the movie out. Can I deal with those consequences? When it was time for me to leave my corporate job, what if I quit my corporate job? I did that whole thing long term and short term. Short term, I'm going to be dead. So long term isn't going to matter. So I got to leave. Now, when I leave, what am I going to be doing when I leave, and how is that going to play out? And here we are, soon to be June 25th, 15 years later, and I have zero regrets. Number 4, embrace failures as feedback. Embrace failure as feedback. So mistakes are part of moving forward. If you are moving forward, you're going to make mistakes. If you are thinking forward, you are going to make mistakes. It's part of the process. So just when a mistake shows up, you reflect, you learn, and you adjust. Reflect, learn, and adjust. You do that after action review, that AAR review, what happened, what was supposed to happen, and what went well and what didn't go well. Now you can go, ooh, okay, this is what was supposed to happen. That didn't happen at all. Okay, what happened and what we're going to do about it. Now, and for the group, a group tip is create a culture where trying and failing is a safe, non-pressured environment. Trying and failing is a safe, non-pressure environment. When you create that, now you're going to have a group of people willingly making mistakes because there isn't going to be consequences and repercussions for forward thinking. Things might go, if you're doing tech stuff, the code might go bad, a virus might show up. You might break some shit trying to build some shit. That's okay. We will just gather new materials, but you have to understand that failure is feedback. It's saying that shit didn't work. Now go see something else and see if something else works. Number 5, surround yourself with future-minded people, or get the fuck away from everybody. That's me saying that part. 5, surround yourself with future-minded people. If you do not have future-minded people around you, they are waking up every day talking you into staying in the present or bringing up the damn past. You know, if you got the 68 Cadillac, now they got these new cars over here, everything on the computer. Everything on the computer. I like it better when I can just get on there and know what it is and all that. And you just go up to the auto supply store and get everything you need. Now you need a computer for everything. You need a computer for everything. Hey, get me on that Facebook so I can see the grants. No, you need a computer for everything. Your ass is going to wait till they go use a camera and get the pictures developed at CVS and find out that the damn dog is in the photo and send it to you via mail. You're not even going to get it FedEx. We ain't sending your ass shit. We're going back to old 1972. So surround yourself with future-minded people. Collaborate with visionaries or those who challenge your thinking. I would think that we can all agree Dr. Donna challenges your thinking on a daily basis. You ain't like, I ain't learned shit. Damn challenge ain't do nothing for me. Although I knew the answers to all of that. Nope, as Kevin has mentioned before, Nola too. We don't know where you going in the morning. We just know we going with you. We haven't. We know when we get to the end, it's going to make sense. And join groups or forums or communities that focus on innovation and progress. That's why I like Toastmasters, because it was there to give me some information that I didn't have before. Number 6 is invest in lifelong learning. I am a lifelong learner. As long as I am of sound mind, I am going to learn. If I can't learn something, I'm out. Wasting my time. I'm not looking for entertainment. I'm not looking for entertainment in all the wrong places. No. I want to learn something. When I leave, I want to know that worked, that didn't work, or how did that work? So I'm a lifelong learner. I suggest that you do the same thing. So invest in lifelong learning. Read books, take courses, learn online, read articles, go have conversations with people that don't look like you, that's not the same age as you, that's not from where you're from, don't have the same background as you. You're going to learn a lot. And then learn from different disciplines to get new perspectives. If I had stayed in leadership as it is designed for corporate America, there is no Real Leaders Wear Pink. There is no Neuropability. There is no me and my brain t-shirt. There is no brain background because it's technical leadership for corporations, executives, and how we do here, and then we're going to do CI improvement. And that. No. Leadership is universal. That's why Real Leaders Wear Pink is there, because people think I got to be at a job. I got to be in a leadership position. I got to be over the PTA. No, you are the leader of Me Incorporated, CEO of Me Incorporated, number 1. So every adult is already a leader. And if I had stayed in my corporate job or in the military, again, it wouldn't have happened. So go get new perspectives. Go talk to, and I know growing up, your parents told you don't talk to strangers, but go talk to some strangers. Okay. And number 7, finally, is reflect regularly. Reflect regularly. So schedule time daily to think deeply. Daily. in your personal time. You are reflecting. You are going, okay, let me think about this. What happened today? How can we do this? What if this? I was watching this. That's why I watch so many different things on streaming platforms. I will watch anything. I'm watching a show now. I think it's on Netflix. It's called Bet. And it's about an Asian young lady whose parents got blew up, and now she's at a boarding school, and she's trying to find out who killed her parents, but it's all about betting. I watched only one episode, but it was pretty good. And the one thing that I took away from that, it's like a half an hour episode, 23 minutes or something like that, was that one young lady said, you got to cheat because the game is rigged. That's interesting, right? Because that's what unaccountable people think. Unaccountable people think you can't win at life. You got to enter into Faustian bargains. You got to cheat. You got to sell your soul. It's okay because you can sell your soul and then live in $1 million home and all of that. And I'm like, you don't. You don't have to do that. You don't have to cheat. You could just be a bad mofo, and now you don't have to cheat, and they will come to you and ask you how you did it. So there is a third option, and it's called daily personal accountability. But if I had saw the thing and said, this is about gambling, I don't want to see another gambling show, then I wouldn't have saw what was actually taking place in that human dynamic. And then I wouldn't have had that her perspective of, you got to cheat because the game is rigged. Interesting. So reflect every day and then ask yourself these two questions. Where am I headed and what needs to change? Where am I headed and what needs to change? I'll review. You can put in your thoughts on these 7 steps to have forward thinking in your life with yourself and groups. Number 1, start with a clear vision. Number 2, develop curiosity and stay informed. Number 3, practice strategic thinking. Number 4, embrace failure as feedback. Number 5, surround yourself with future-minded people. Number 6, invest in lifelong learning. And number 7, reflect regularly. And by regularly, I mean daily. If you've gotten to your end of your day and you haven't reflected on anything, you don't go to sleep until you have reflected, because the brain is processing information to say, what did I take in today? Can I use that information? Do I need to do a dump and put everything in file 13? And when you wake up every day expecting to learn something, that's why I say, what did you learn today? And what did you learn about yourself today? Now you have to start reflecting. Automatic reflection in there. See how I just slid that on in there and you didn't even know that you was doing some reflection. And you're also telling the brain, I expect to learn something today, and I expect to learn something about myself today. So what are your thoughts, excuse me, on the how to become forward thinking? And then additionally, what did you learn today? And what did you learn about yourself? I'm keeping this water bottle, but this was some good Hawaiian volcanic water, natural electrolytes. Waiakea. I'm probably saying it wrong. Waiakea. And Nola probably can tell me how to pronounce it, but it's pretty good. And one of our clients, she had it. She was going to offer us some, but I had already had the bottle. She's like, I was about to give you all that exact water. Like, yeah, it's pretty good. Harmony, I have no idea what that means. If you're here to do some antics, you can go away, or you can explain it. I'm 52 years old. Or did you type that incorrectly? I think you might have typed that incorrectly. Are you trying to say hello? Because it's an R, and I don't have my glasses on, so it looks like HRILO. Or did you attempt to type hello? Or is that something else? And we've already had 5 unaccountable trolls on the live today, so don't take it personally. I understand the school is out and people need their dopamine boost, manufactured dopamine boost, but we don't specialize in that over here. It's DIY. Get your own dopamine. Get your own dopamine. Produce your own dopamine. Produce your own dopamine. It's natural. It's natural. It's natural. It's natural. Get your own dopamine. Get your own dopamine. Know what I mean? Dopamine. Know what I mean? Dopamine. My shirt was true. 95% song lyrics. Today we are featuring the next new t-shirt. It is idea. It's left brain and right brain. And it tells you which side does what. And there's one more new one coming sometime in the future. Somewhere out there is my third brain t-shirt. And if you're wondering why they're just trickling in, man, it ain't a lot of brain t-shirts out there. Not that I could wear. Not that I could wear. So I am scouring the internet for ones that match me. And I wait to see if there are any new ones coming out. Like I'm waiting, like it's a sneaker drop. Regina, I learned that surrounding yourself with future-minded people is important, as well as being a lifelong learner. Noah said, I learned about myself that I do think forward, especially now doing more real leadership. Yes, new neural pathways are being created, and you just keep doing it. Use it or lose it. The more you use it, the more you can use it and have access to it. And it just makes sure that it is just cemented in your brain. And then Nola said, I learned you need to think forward to create the future. You do. And there's not a lot of us doing that. And it's not encouraged either. Because if you start being a forward thinker, you're going to start walking away from these asinine jobs that people have. You're going to walk away from all of this mind-numbing work. So it's not something that is out here saying, hey, you need to think forward. You need to think forward. No. You might leave these stuckmalies and these stands and these marriages that are killing you softly. No one is encouraging it. Some of it is by design and some of it is negativity bias and people can't even think. Kevin said, today, learn to be focused and have vision. I learned that that I was correct in my choice to go with my headband wig and my choice to not do it because predators are still predatory. But now I know why they're doing it. And when you have information, knowledge and the application of knowledge is power. When you understand why someone is doing something, they can't use it as a weapon against you anymore. All right, Sabrina said, I learned that in the work world, no one asks, what did you learn today? But consistently ask, what did you do? That's interesting that you say that, Sabrina, because now you are bringing that back to my attention of when I actually had a job. It is, what did you do? It actually is. What did we do? What happened? Without what did you learn? And the only time that you learn is if it's time for corporate to send some stuff down. And then you have to learn that. But they don't go back and check to see if you learned if you applied it. We taught it, but how does that translate? And one thing that I used to do, because I was a CIMT, a continuous improvement master trainer, is that I would read what was in the material that was presented, and everybody would have the deer in the headlights. And whether I was talking to people in manufacturing, warehouse, or traffic, because I had worked in all of them, I would be able to say, okay, so on line 37, when the bags are coming off, or Ray forgot to do, somebody forgot to do something with the weigh hopper and it comes down, this is how you handle that conflict. And then they go, oh, because the examples that they put in there wouldn't apply, and they definitely didn't, people didn't know how to make it apply to that specific business unit. Okay. Kevin, myself, I have very few future-minded people in my circle. And Regina said, Kevin, I agree with you about few future-minded people in my life too. And the reason why is, again, because of that comfort. People, the saber-toothed tigers are out here making fun of people. And if you don't attack that fear, your individual self, you are not going to be future focused. If you wake up with negativity bias, you are not going to be future focused because you're looking for the threat. If you're just trying to survive today, you're not going to be thinking about 2 months from now, unless it's something that's going to give you a dopamine boost. So there are people who are looking forward to the concerts that are coming. Teachers are looking forward to the last couple of days of school for summer vacation. Those type of things that people will be looking forward to. Where is my next dopamine boost? That's something that they will be looking forward to. But something that's actually going to enhance and advance their life, absolutely not. The brain is not wired for that naturally, and it is an individual personal choice that people have to make for themselves because they don't believe that it's possible. But Cam makes the impossible The can makes the impossible possible, and that's one of the 74 principles of real leadership. That's what it is. You can be forward thinking, and you need to be forward thinking. And if nobody around you is forward thinking, okay, but don't let them stop you from being forward thinking, because there is a lot of fulfillment in thinking forward and then producing that thing. People need a why to get up in the morning, and it can't be for money and these material things. What I have found is that the more I become personally accountable, the less material things that I actually need, because that's filling the outside. So the whole outside is filled, but the inside is still unfulfilled. So I'm good with where I am at in life. I'm perfectly fulfilled, and this is the least amount of material possessions that I've had since I was a child. But I wake up every day with much more information and everything that I need. I have so much information, so I don't need 15 watches. I don't need 15 pair of sneakers. I don't need all these different diamond rings and all these purses and all this other stuff and fur coats and all that stuff. I actually don't even need that anymore. It was hot as hell here to begin with, these hot flashes too. But in general, the more fulfilled you become, the less filled your outside is. I used to have on jewelries and bracelets and I wear earrings so my holes won't close up. I think if I put a watch on right now, it would feel like a tether or a handcuff on my wrist. I don't wear rings anymore, none of those things, because it's not necessary. Because I am who I am without all of the accoutrements. Now, do I still have clothes if I need to dress and go to an event? Absolutely. But overall, and I even made the decision, I'm going to keep ordering brand shirts, because I might even have on a brand shirt with a suit. And just because this is the point where I am. Because again, remember, I just turned 52. So what are my 50s actually going to be about? So it'll be interesting. I wore enough suits and all of that with my, camisoles and all of that. Why not put a brand t-shirt on? Why not? And because what I'm saying is, I just came out as a nerd last fall. So when people come out, they let everybody know they're out and about. So here it is. With my brand t-shirts. What is this? Oh, I came out as a nerd last year. 2024 was a moment that I had on a live, and I'm not going back in, damn it. I'm brilliant, and I know it. And my brand t-shirts show it. Okay. I believe that is all that I have for you all today. Thank you for participating. Kevin Jones said, you have a head like a bag of mints that's been set on fire, then put out with a pitchfork. Okay, Kevin Jones, now that you've said that, did you meet your objective this morning? Did you meet your objective? Because I think you need to. Judy Lieberth has a book about comedy, and I forgot the name of it right now. Let it go, Regina. I forgot the name of it, but here's how a joke works, okay? Because I used to do stand-up comedy. What you have to do is set up the joke, and then you do a punchline. And then you do a tag and a tag and a tag on the punchline. Now, when joking, know your audience, because the joke actually has to be funny and the audience has to get it. So this audience doesn't get your joke. So as a person that's teaching people how to become their best, they don't appreciate what you've done. That's why Regina, who never curses, has said WTF. Because the group that's here is trying to understand what your modus operandi was and what were you doing with this. So let's break this down. You have a head like a bag of mints that's been set on fire, then put out with a pitchfork. So no one here gets it because of the references that you're using. So know your audience, okay? This might work with your retinue, and they might get all of this, but I'm 52, so none of this works for me. Now, a better joke would have been, your wig looks like a hat, and you must, wait, let me do this correctly. Oh no, here we go. Why would somebody that's pretty put on a brain t-shirt? Do you actually think people think you're going to be smart? No, don't say you're sorry now, because you started this, okay? So if you're going to come for somebody, you actually got it. And I'm not even about to put myself out there like that. I'm recanting that statement. So what happened is you're looking for a dopamine boost for whatever is taking place in your life, and you picked the wrong one. Now, what you did was you misread what was taking place. So you think because I have this long hair on and this bangs and I'm African American, that you think that I'm not brilliant. You also didn't know that I was a stand-up comic. You also didn't know that I grew up in the hood and I could play the dozens with the best of them. So you misread the room. You used somatic markers and thought something was happening that wasn't taking place at all. So you actually do need to go work on your comedy. Go to an open mic night if you're over 21, wherever you live, and test out some jokes. Write them out first, practice them in the mirror, practice how you're going to hold your microphone, timing, give yourself room for the audience to laugh or not, because currently you're not funny, but work on that because you can be if you study it. Look at the greats. Go look at Red Skelton, Red Fox, Richard Pryor, Rodney Dangerfield, all of the people, and then decide, are you going to be a punchline person? Are you going to be a storyteller person? Are you going to talk about current things? Are you going to talk about yourself? Will you be doing self-deprecating jokes? But pick a path and then stick to it. Are you going to stand up? Are you going to sit down? Are you going to be dry humor, witty? You're going to be a physical comic like Cat Williams and Tony Roberts. But pick it and define it and refine it. And just to let you know, it takes a good 5 to 10 years for you to actually start being funny. Okay, so you're years out from being funny. Yes, you did misread the room, absolutely. But I'm here to help. I'm here to help. And because I have lived a million lifetimes in 52 years, I'm okay with telling you how to actually, because be the best. That's one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So if you're actually going to seek this out, I just gave you a bunch of nuggets because you are not funny right now. It's not. It's offensive. And people think when comics are saying offensive things that that's comedy. It's not. You really have to start watching people. I would also suggest that you go to a park or you go to the mall and people watch. Not pervy people watch, but just observe what people are doing and you will find the humor in that. So you take things that are real and then you bring it to light and it has to be relatable to the people in the audience, and that's why people laugh. That's what makes the joke funny. But if nobody gets it, then it's not funny. Okay? And Steve Martin is another one that you can, well, he used to be like, ha, 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 I'm a wild and crazy guy. But if you watch the evolution of him, if you have access to Def Comedy Jam, you can watch Comic View and watch comedy specials on any of the streaming platforms and really, really, really study the greats. Go to the open mic night, sit in the back, watch what the comics are doing because you are not there. You're nowhere near there, but you can be. But it's going to take some effort and some stick-to-itiveness. You're going to bomb. People are not going to think it's funny. And you just have to keep going and going. Even the greats, even after they've become well-known, have found themselves bombing. That's just the nature of the game. But yeah, so don't come back here with those antics again. You're welcome to come back if you want to learn how to hold yourself personally accountable. But I would not come back trying to crack jokes on me because I will go ham and I will leave you left for dead for somebody to come pick you up. Because I do know how to drag a motherfucker on the internet. So I would not suggest that you do that again. That would not bode well for you. Okay? Because I could just take from your name and your profile photo and go ham. But I chose peace today instead of violence. Okay? It's not going to work, Kevin. You trading on thin ice. It's not going to work. Absolutely not. YouTube knows it's not happening. And welcome, Cheryl. Come back. I'm here live every day at 5:30 a.m. So, ladies and gentlemen, we had several lessons today. We had people, based upon my appearance, think that's basically what everybody did. They used my appearance. They use my appearance. Now, so be me. Imagine being me. So I get told your skinny ass, shut up, what you know about that. And then because of my aesthetics, people go straight for the aesthetics and assume all kind of things. And everybody is wrong. Everybody that has went for the aesthetics or took a snapshot has been 1000% incorrect. So what is the moral of the story as we leave today? Don't judge a book by its cover. You have no idea what's inside my book. Until you read it. And it's not what you think. And I will not change the cover because if you're judging a book by the cover, you're never going to know. You actually have to go and do something different. You actually have to go and do something different. And so I've proven all of my points. And that's why I'm not going back to the headband wig. I will deal with the looky-loos and everybody else as they come. But I need to be me 1000% and stop. Oh my God, what do they say this? I got some shit for you. I got an amazing lexicon that I can go ham if I need to. Read you like a nursery rhyme or give you grace, which I have chosen to do with this last person. today. Okay, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for you taking time for yourself to learn how to be a forward thinker and to continue to learn how to personally hold yourself personally accountable. Tomorrow, I will be back, God willing, higher power, and the universe, same time, same place. This is a safe space, different brain t-shirt. You all go off and have a great day.